Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. With me this week, I have GM of Team Rocket, Kyle,
Sir,
and GM of
champ.
Sauce Pass, Corey.
Hello.
And of course, you have me, your host, Commissioner and Champion, Team Ramrod. Boys, interesting week that finished last night. Some very interesting results. I want to start off by going with the predictions. We had Plums, who went 6 for 8. The next highest was 3 for 8, and that was
Wow.
Corey and Mark. And I went
Not
2 for 8. So it was not a predictable week unless you're Plums, who's like, yeah, I'm picking all these teams who he thinks are better. But I guess why wait, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Let's talk. We got a lot to talk about today because Corey has a little surprise for us. No, we just lost Kyle here. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there is.
He just switched spots there. He went down to the bottom. He's like, fuck that. I don't want to be a top. I'm a power bottom. Uh,
damn right.
First matchup here we're going to talk about. No surprise here. Le Champion doing exactly what he said he would do, taking down Team Rocket. I guess let's start with the outsider in this matchup here and ask Corey what he thought about this matchup.
Yeah, good weeks for both of you, really. Came down to goaltending. That was the 5 point difference in the 10-5 score, and that's really what it came to. So good week for both of you. Shane, obviously, probably the one of the couple of predictions you got right.
It was one of the two. One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
Can't go wrong
But
when you bet on the Champion.
yeah,
Everyone got that one right for the record. Yeah.
yeah. So you know what though? Kyle gets some redemption later in the season potentially. So right. So for, what is it? First 7 weeks you get rematches with?
Yeah, we'll play again.
Play
We'll play
twice.
again. I
Yeah.
can't wait to beat him down again. Uh,
I can't wait to lose to him again.
Kyle, what do you think of what do you have comments on this matchup?
I gotta reiterate what Corey said. You took the 5 points in goaltending. You probably have the best goaltending in the league, and it really showed this week. I wasn't disappointed with my team. Coming, um, taking 5 player categories against a tough team like yours is, that made me happy. And yeah, hopefully next time my goaltending shows up and I get a better result.
Yeah, it was closer than I thought it would be, to be honest. But I'm just gonna reiterate the point. Just like the real Team Rocket, a 10-year-old could beat Kyle. It's terrible. But I'll take that win. As someone not wise said in the chat today, a win's a win. You take them no matter who your opponent is and what the circumstances. You just take the win and move on. So I'll take that easy win, the squash match to start the year, and move on. Hopefully, some bigger challenges lie ahead for the champion because this is fucking child's play. Um, let's move on to the next match. Just I am shocked with this result, to be honest. I know neither of them proved to be better than the other, which in a way doesn't surprise me. But like Casey's name says, I just thought he was pure ass. But like Mark's team says, the dumpster fire. So I guess who wins between a dumpster fire and a team that's pure ass? No one. They
Nope.
tied.
No.
Corey, do you have any thoughts on this matchup?
I think you summed it up perfectly. Um, you know what? He got Yari, which is a dumpster fire. Saves helped him get an extra point to get the tie. So, good on you, I guess, Mark, that way. But yeah.
He picked up Reimer to get that yesterday.
Take that.
He would have
Yeah.
lost if he hadn't picked up Reimer yesterday.
So good ad.
Yeah, good management, I guess, to string out a tie against a fucking bottom feeding team. What do you got? What do you got to say about this one, Kyle?
Yeah, you got some production from some unexpected players. 5 points from Boldy, 5 points from Teravainen, 5 points from Theodore. This helped propel them to just scrape a tie with pure ass.
Pure ass.
I will say this about Casey's team. Casey's team isn't as bad as like we talk about, but he has no goaltending, which is the issue. Because he has some really elite forwards, but he does make some questionable trades for the rest of his team, and his goaltending is just shit. With that said, though, Mark is not much better than him. I rank Mark in the bottom tier of this league as well. So when two jobbers fight, sometimes you get nothing. I think this matchup surprised some people because the way Daltrey drafted his team and the way he brags about his team, I guess a lot of people believed in him and thought he would win. But in true Daltrey fashion, he lets us all down, losing 6-9 here to Patches. Corey, you have any thoughts on this matchup?
I'm surprised here. Um, Nothing spectacular out of both teams. Some good offense out of Patches. Um, Weak goaltending, but got a shutout, which is a huge point. Close match, but carry on next week and see. These are two teams we're not sure how they're going to look at the end of the season, right? Kind of wild cards in our view. So
On paper,
good win
though,
for Nick. Good win for
Daltrey
Nick.
should be a wild card on paper.
I agree. I agree.
His GMing is wild card.
Stamkos 0 points so far.
First overall.
Yep.
What do you got to say about this one, Kyle?
Yeah, Nick, Patches O'Hooligan, he got some production from his Colorado boys. Caulfield with 4 goals this week. Kyrou with 2 goals and 4 assists. Really helped propel him for this win. But yeah, there's some weak sauce. Really, he was lucky to get that shutout. Really saved Patches bacon. But yeah, Daltrey drafted what should be an elite team and not elite right now.
Yeah, they came out flat out of the gate here, which I expect from anything with Daltrey's name on it. Patches, he got lucky with some of his production this week, but in fantasy hockey, sometimes you get lucky to win. So good on him, big win for him. I'm still not impressed with either of these teams, what I've seen. Who knows, by playoffs, maybe one of them will be in there. Maybe. Everyone loves Raymond. See, I've never been a big fan of Raymond. But he took down Captain Crunch. Maybe I'm warming up to him a little bit. Took down Domo, 11-2. I didn't think it would happen, but Swayman came back, made a big difference for Derek. What are your thoughts on this one, Corey?
Domo, only getting 3 goalie starts, but 37 saves. Like rough week in nets there. So taking no goalie stats. And then Derek's players came out and played a few close category wins, but just 11-2 is the outcome. And comfortable week for Derek here. I don't think we're too surprised with how Domo's draft picks were. So another week.
What do you think about this one, Kyle?
Yeah, looking at this, it tells me that Domo's bad trades have finally caught up to him, unless it's just an off week for him. But like his team really fell flat here. There's nothing to really see with Domo's team as of right now. Yeah, Derek had a aggressively average week, and he destroyed Domo. So we're gonna take a look, and maybe Domo's going to be competing with Travis for that golden cock.
Man, there's nothing I would love more than for that golden cock to be sitting at the dinner table for adultery family dinner. But this last week, it just showed that the Red Wings played better than the Senators last week, and that's the end result we got. These guys are flushed with players from their favorite teams, and that's kind of why they're at the bottom of the league. They don't do anything else but pick up the guys that play for the teams they like. If that's what they came here to do, great. Glad you guys are fans of losing. Keep it up. Keep it up. I do think you're correct, though. His trades are keeping up with him, or are catching up with him, sorry. Domo doesn't have a lot there, but his keeper base is stronger than some of the other ones with Miller and Kachuk. So he's got some guys who do everything. He just needs to round that up a bit. If I were him, I'd focus on that this year instead of trying to compete with that shit show of a team he has. After all those picks that he had, fix your keepers. Next year's another year for you, maybe.
I completely agree with you. I think maybe this year that maybe he should just throw in the towel and concentrate on building up his team for next year. And because right now his team is he has some good keepers, but his team is ass.
Yeah, he already moved Suzuki too, right?
It's not pure ass though, but it's ass. He did already move Suzuki. He already moved Stone. Um, like he's
He
just
has
trying to get
no goalies,
assets.
right? So
He's trying to get assets so he can keep doing his thing. Well, I think it's time to cut the cord on that strategy, buddy, and switch it up. But it's your team. You pay to play. You do what you want to do. You do you. I'm happy with you being in the bottom. That's cool with me. Forgot about Dre being upset by the Braden bye week. And I think this was the biggest shocker for everyone. I was sitting at home yesterday watching these scores, and I'm like, wow, Braden is gonna fucking beat Nick. Um, Now, before I go to you guys and your opinion, I'm just gonna say one thing. I know I made a comment yesterday about how the hurricane affected uh Nick's team, and Braden and his GM partner were like, "Oh, it affected us too. You guys lost Gunsel or whatever." But fucking Dre lost Vass, Point, and Cooch. Like, you can't tell me that doesn't hurt you more than you losing one player. Like, those are three of his keepers played one game last week because of the hurricane. And that's
Wow.
how it goes sometimes, right? We all went through COVID hockey. I know Nick's not here
oh,
making excuses, but I feel like that was the difference in the week. Maybe I'm
how many
wrong.
games would they have had?
They missed 2 games,
That's an all 6-man games out of keepers. That's a lot of games.
especially when one's Vass is your starting
Yep.
goalie. Like,
Yep.
but that's how I feel. What I feel was the difference. But to Braden's credit, he got shorthanded points and shutouts last week, so he
Yeah,
got
he had a
those.
solid week.
His team played well. I just feel it would have been a different story had those keepers played for Nick. But a win's a win, and
Yeah,
good
yeah.
on you, Braden.
Braden had a fantastic week, but I do agree that had Vaz played, that Nick would have won this week because he's only 11 saves behind and a win behind, right? So that probably would have flipped it to a 7-6 week. But regardless, there is a story to be told here, and that's Braden actually, if this week is any indication, Braden has a good team.
I told you
You know?
last week. I said he was my pick to surprise everyone and make the playoffs. I don't think he's going to go and beat the kings of the league here constantly, but
Yeah.
I think he'll beat the lower tier for sure, and the mid tier he'll go 50-50 against, and I think he'll sneak in.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely got a little lucky this week, but let's not confuse that. He does seemingly have a good team, whether this was a lucky win or not.
Yeah, agree. What do you think, Corey? What do you think of the matchup?
Yeah, it was a good week. That's a big blow. That would have definitely scripted the change the script on this one. But it's nice to see him active and competing and trying to do the right thing. So it's good for the league.
I'm
It
glad
feels
he's
like
active.
16 of us who are active now.
Yeah, I'm glad he's active. Maybe it's his buddy there that is keeping him active. Who knows? If they have to hold hands while they GM, great, good for them. Nick though, I bet you this fires him up now. He's pissed, and I pity whoever plays him this week. Mentally bedarded, taken down, Sauce pass. I think this surprised a lot of people. I didn't surprise bedarded because he picked him to win. But what happened here, Corey?
Yeah, my guys, just nobody really showed up. He had a solid week. Nothing spectacular, but great. Like a good week. But he didn't need much to beat me. My team did not show this week. Few injuries, but shouldn't be this bad. So we'll see. Next week's a new week.
Today's the new week.
Exactly.
Kyle, what do you think of this matchup? You have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, the Corey hit it on those. His team didn't show up, but a few points to note. Eichel, a goal and 6 assists. Anderson, defense, Calgary, 2 goals, 3 assists, plus 6. Bedard, 1 goal, 4 assists. Kyle's team performed really well, and you got half decent goaltending, and that was the winning formula for this week.
It's
I had 5 goalie wins. That was like really the only upside for my week. But Calgary and Vegas also let in a lot of goals this week. So yeah. Didn't really go well with it.
it is
Geez,
good for the league.
that Ottawa LA game today, man,
Oh my
8-7. That is insane.
I'm glad I don't have Kemper. Whew.
Oh yeah, he took all 7.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
took all 8.
Oh, 8. Sorry, yes, 8.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Right on the chin.
glad I jumped ship on him and got Hellebuck instead. It's a shot at you, Sean. I know you're disappointed it took us so long, but we'll hear about it. But it is good for the league when matches like this happen, when lower tier guys, what we consider lower tier guys, beat guys who are typically near the top of the league, right? So, it's good to see other teams competing against the top tier teams. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Maybe Corey's on the downswing. Who knows? I never thought he was that great, but I had to send him packing 2 years in a row in the playoffs.
Yep. Rough. New year.
No, I don't think anyone was surprised with this result. Maybe they're surprised with the 0 points. But Travis got absolutely raped by Dan. I don't even think Dan really did anything. I think he barely set his lineup. That's what he told me. He's like, I'm not even going to set my lineup against this clown. I don't need it to beat him. But he handedly took care of business against Travis. What do you got to say about this one, Corey?
Dan had a okay week. A good
Okay,
amount of
generous.
PIMs. Yeah, okay amount of PIMs, a shutout. His goalies didn't do much. Deep stats, a good amount of hits, but otherwise, like 10 goals is okay number, but nothing spectacular. And he wins 12-0. That just shows how bad. Like Travis, 2 goals, 2 assists, like 0 power play points. Like just
0
rough.
power play points.
Just rough.
I don't
Jesus
even think he has players
Christ.
who play on the power play on his team.
Yeah, like
It's brutal.
2 blocks, I think would be like the closest you can say the stats were. 2 blocks for Dan, but yeah, rough week. Over to Kyle if you got something to add to that. But
Well, I just want to sit there and shit on Travis. Like, fuck you, Travis, for selling your team. This is what pisses me off about it, okay? And I'm pissed off coming into this year because of Travis. I love you, Travis, but like he unbalanced this league before the league even started this week by selling all of his fucking assets. And I mean, like, that's within league rules, but like he just overpowered a few people, and it's just like I sit here and I'm like, why am I even playing this year? I don't even have a chance coming out of the gate. And you know what? I'm gonna say this is the best draft I've had in years, and I didn't even start to the 9th. Like, I'm super happy with my draft, and I feel like I'm like, why am I even playing this year? Because and to me, it's like the dumbest GM move ever. Like, it's one thing to get rid of a couple keepers, and like you're gonna go for something or trade for something up, but you got rid of everything. And I just don't understand that. And this is a result. Dan had a shit week. I think, Shane, you picked Dan to not make the playoffs this year, if I'm correct.
As a surprise GM to not make it, that Dan was my selection.
Yeah, and like after I hope it's true that Dan didn't set his lineup this week, because otherwise, like, I think Shane's prediction is going to come true. And I mean, you can't judge somebody on 1 week. But yeah, like, I'm not impressed by Dan this week, and Dan has an unimpressive showing, and he murders Travis, like murders. It's not a good look. Like, we have a new Braden bye week. It's even worse than the Braden bye week. Jesus Christ, I hope I don't lose to Travis, because that's gonna be fucking embarrassing.
that's what I said. This is by far the worst team ever active in our 10 years at any point.
Yeah, and like
Eric was
not
pretty
even
bad
close.
season 1.
Yeah, but he not this bad.
Yeah, what,
Not
19
even close.
losses? Let's see if Travis can beat that.
He has to start doing something for that to stand a
Braden tried
chance.
that last year, right? So maybe Travis wants to be the very best at losing.
And I think this might be the dumbest move anybody has ever made in this league. And we'll see at the end of the year and see what he's able to do with these draft picks that he's gotten. But my money is on it's a dumb move, and it's going to take Travis years to recover from this.
I agree.
We all know Travis is that kind of guy where if he doesn't win, he's upset. So, and I think he just pulled the trigger and said, I'm moving everything out and rebuilding. And he wants to do it his way, and that's fine. But to me, it's like you need to spend some of that currency this year as people drop out to try and improve that keeper base. Because if you're going to the draft, yeah, you have all those picks, but what are you keeping? You know, you need something to keep to give yourself a base. So I'm hoping his plan is to move some of those picks throughout the year, and grab something of value.
I hope that's the case too, but it's not like he picked up like any. Did he pick up any rookies at the draft this year?
Yeah, he's got young
Yeah,
guys.
he has some young guys.
Leo
Yeah,
Carlson. He had Nyes, but I think he moved Nyes. But he's picking up a
Yeah,
lot of rookies in these trades, a lot of young guys.
like
Um,
he better like go after some of the rookies, man, because like I don't see where he's going to get value for money for those draft picks. I don't know. I kind of felt like he like undersold as well.
yep,
Um,
I'll agree
I
with that.
I just yeah, I think it's not a it wasn't good for the league this year, and I think it seriously unbalanced it.
I think you
Um,
did fine on my deal. You got a 6, 7, and 8 out of me for 2 players.
yeah, but still, like he gave up keeper players. I don't know. I don't agree with it. Um, I think he got the better of that deal by far. Um, but anyway, it's his right to do it. It just kind of kill it for me a bit this year. Like to be like that handicapped right out of the gate. Yeah, I didn't like it.
To be fair, I think that every year when it starts, I'm like, why does anyone even play this league? Because the champion just dominates. But people have fun with it.
Trades like that do it though.
Well, that's it, right? And like we already coming into the season like with a handicap, and we're still playing. You know what I mean? And like, and this he just like doubled down on our handicap against you, Shane. Uh, Regardless, I love this league. I love it so much. But it just really irked me.
Now, I'm curious to see because this will be a learning lesson for a lot of GMs. Like, this is why we don't do this. Or, Travis is one of the few GMs who's so active, he might be able to turn this around. Should he choose to, right? I don't know. I can't speak to what his plan is, but he's so active on trades. And we know people out there right now are still selling. He could easily turn around and be like, I'm going to send some of these picks over for that player, and build the team. Whether he does that or not, I can't speak to that. I don't know what his actual plans. I don't even think he knows because it depends on how he feels when
Depends
he
on the
wakes
week.
up. Like, but yeah, I can see how some people feel that is bad. But there's clearly 4 GMs who thought the opposite and said that's fucking great. Because we took advantage of those sales.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's good for you guys. Nobody's blaming any of you for jumping in on those sales. I
Nope.
think for the rest of us who aren't in on the sales, uh, we're a little irked. At least I am anyway.
You know what? It'll be worth it when you see Travis's name on that golden cock with the
It is
league's worst record of all time.
it is the only thing that's giving me comfort right now.
When you're feeling down, don't worry. The golden cock gives you comfort, right, Kyle?
That's right. It got me through a divorce here.
One
Oh,
thing too though, like I wasn't one of those 4 GMs, but I also have moved my 6 and 7 since
yeah.
and got 2 what I consider keeper worthy, maybe not on every team, obviously, but
No, this.
players in Kempe and Suzuki. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's all right.
No,
But
but on a
so
lot
like
of
that,
teams, they're
right?
they're keeper players, right?
Yeah. So like you can go heavy into buying, right? You have to compete
Yeah.
because I think that's the difference in the league right now is that there was more balance whenever there wasn't this many trades, right? This is what's really taken the league to the next level, and that's where you have to make the deals to compete, right? Like how
Yeah,
do you build a winning
it,
roster? Like
it's just so unusual
trades.
for it to be like before the season even starts.
I know
You know?
it's just the last couple of years we've just upped the ante. Like it's just gone nuts.
Yeah, well, and I want to like raise the bar and how much you're paying to get in because we spend so much time on this, right?
Agreed.
And then the some GMs are like, well, no, that's too much money for I'm paying to lose. Like I know I'm paying that extra money to lose, but some people are so like their team is
Mm.
so shitty they don't want to pay the money because they're for sure losing. You know what I mean? And they'll probably be the first ones to say, hey, let's raise the ante once they're competitive again.
Yep.
I,
But We'll
I am
see.
always for more money in the pot, whether I'm winning or not. Just because, again, we put so much time in this league, and I want to be. If it's cost more, people will pay attention to it more because you're not just whatever, it's this much money I'm throwing away, whatever. No, it's this much
Yep.
money. I need to focus on this a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, it's crazy because I'm in 3 fantasy leagues and I pay twice as much for the other two, but I spend like 10 times the amount of time on the one I pay half the rate for.
The
It's an
prestige of this
interesting
league.
dynamic,
It's the prestige.
right?
We do have another matchup to talk about. I know we got off track there with Travis, because he rubs people the wrong way sometimes, you know, with his trade decisions. But we have Sean. We didn't forget about you, Sean. You beat Neil last week, and we do want to talk about that. What do you have to say about this one, Corey?
This is like a rivalry week here. They've had a lot of battles through the years. Neil coming on the short end of this stick. Not spectacular performances by either team, really. But Sean won a lot of close categories. And comfortable win 10-3 the final.
Yeah, I think as Corey and I were saying, we're picking Neil to not make the playoffs this year, surprise team, and maybe this is an off week for Neil, or maybe this is the team that me and Corey see is that this is Neil's year to not make the playoffs because Sean didn't have a good week. I don't think Sean's making the playoffs either, and it just goes to show like Sean beat a weakened Neil team with a weak team of his own.
Nothing would make me happier if both these teams didn't make the playoffs. Um, like both of them. Who cares? They're nothing. They're nothing in this league right now. I do know Neil has been shopping. So he's trying to improve his team. I think he hears what you guys are saying, and he's looking around to see how he can improve his team. Sean, we all know, doesn't like to make trades, and I think last year cemented why. Um, he got emotional because he was losing, and he made a trade that many people think he shouldn't have made. I was perfectly fine with that trade. It was a great trade, Sean. Keep doing it. And then he paid for it today. Kemper let in 8 goals, but
It's true.
I think Sean will be more reserved again, back to his normal self. And I think Neil is looking for ways to improve his team. He's in a situation he's not used to where he doesn't have 2 real goalies, like 2 star goalies. He has Anderson. Anderson will be good for him. But he kept 4 forwards this year, right? Which is unusual for him. So he's got to find that balance on the new makeup of his team.
Yeah, and Neil's a great GM, and I just feel like I think this is maybe a bit of a rebuild for him this year. And Neil's great, and he has capabilities of improving his team for sure. We'll see if he does it or not, if he gets the right deals or not.
Yeah, he won't just make a deal to make a deal. He'll make sure he gets the right deal for him, right? So
yeah.
well, let's see if we can fit a few trades talks here in before we stop part 1. A few trades to talk about here. We have what is it? Marc-Andre Fleury and a 15th going to Daltrey in exchange for Matt Roy and a 12th. I believe that went to Daltrey Sr. Again, they were probably at dinner talking about how shitty their teams are and said, hey, why don't we make them even shittier with a no big deal trade. What do you guys think about this? Who wants to go over? Let's go with Corey. We've been going with Corey first. Let's keep going with Corey.
Yeah.
Keep the same system going.
I like it for Daltrey in the sense of him getting the tandem in Minnesota with a completely unclear picture of the future, especially with Wallstead, and didn't have to pay much to do it. Matt Roy was late enough. Well, for him, I think it was like an 8th or 9th. I thought it was an early pick, so I don't see a whole lot of value there going out. So I think it was a good deal for both of them because Fleury on his own doesn't hold much value. I think Daltrey is one who'd value him the most.
Fair. What do you think, Kyle?
No comment.
No comment. I'm kind of in the same boat. To me, it was a nothing trade. A defenseman that I don't really value that much for a goalie who's on his last legs, who's probably just backing up mostly this year. He's just there for mentoring. He'll still put up decent numbers because he's still Flurry, but to me, it's a nothing trade. You getting involved here, Corey. Picking up Lawson Krause and a 14th in exchange for Shabbat and an 11th. Dome will want to pick up more Senators. What happened here?
Yeah, Shabbat, just a late ad for me after the draft. So nothing there. Only giving up an 11th, 14th back is not too high for me. So I was pretty happy with the picks. Kraus is a gritty player who's put up a couple goals already, off to a pretty good start for me. Exactly what you'd expect out of getting an 11th for him, or you'd hope for, I guess, at least. So yeah, I was happy with the deal. Guy I had my eye on in the draft. I just got picked a little bit before I had a pick. So
You got anything to add on that one, Kyle?
I've had Lawson Krause on my team on and off the last couple of years, and he's a good little player. And before he was kind of waiver wire, now he's actually worth some late picks, which speaks to Krause's increasing value in fantasy. And like Corey said, he's a good gritty player. So I think it's a good pick up for Corey.
I think it helps that Utah is getting better. They get better players around him. But I've always liked Krause because he throws the body a lot. He's about a 20-goal scorer, but he throws the body, gets you some pims. He's great in our league, right? So I like this deal for you, Corey. Shabbat, I just don't care about. So I think for what you paid, I think it was a good pickup. What we got here? Caden Primo, Ryan O'Reilly in a 7th going to Travis for Nyes, Seelovs, and a 10th going to Mentally Bedarded. Was that it? Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think of this one?
I think it's the best Travis could have got. Considering his draft pick situation, another situation where Salavs doesn't hold as much value to anyone else but Kyle with the Demko situation, right? And he's a good player to put some kind of faith into too. I don't think he was too worried about who he got back, but O'Reilly is not a bad piece. Let's see how he does in Nashville. Depicts how good a value you can get for him, but with his pick so low, it's hard to move anyone, right? So I think they both came out well with this one. Don't like that Kyle moved to 7th. Maybe wish it was an 8th, but not the worst.
What do you think, Kyle?
I agree with Corey. Like 7th seems like a bit much, but overall, it's not a bad trade.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There's not a whole lot of meat in this trade, but a 3-round upgrade. You get a guy who's starting right now in Vancouver because they don't have anyone else. Nyes, I know he's a Toronto fan, so he's hoping that he has a lot of potential. I know he's playing with Marner and Matthews, so there's some value there. Hopefully it works out for him. With that, we're going to stop part 1. We'll come back and talk about the other 2 trades here shortly because, again, I'm too cheap to buy premium here. We're going to do the free 45 minutes it gives us.
We got to raise the ante so we can afford the show.
I'm poor.
One video.
Yeah.